Olivia over at Prepaze, and I'm here with the second installment of our Polynomials video series. So this section I'm calling Polynomial Anatomy in Standard Form because we're going to learn about what are the names of the pieces of a polynomial and what to expect when you're writing and looking at a polynomial. So a polynomial is a string of terms linked together with arithmetic operators. We're going to break down these vocab terms. Arithmetic operators is just a fancy way of saying addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You're very, very familiar with that at this point. Now, what are these terms that we talk about? Well, we've been working with terms all of the time in math leading up to this point. But the terms that we're talking about with polynomials is they're a composed product of constants and variables. So constants are like the real numbers that we've seen, 6, 73, pi are all examples of constants. And variables are values that are placeholders for different constant values we could plug in, and we're representing that range with the variable. If you're confused about what a variable is, go ahead and check out our functions video, and you can learn about the relationships between input and output. It's super helpful. So like I said, a term is composed of a product of constants and variables. So if we check out over here, the term like 73x is a product of the constant 73 and the variable x. Y squared is also going to be one of those terms. It's two variables that are multiplied together, two different y's, multiplied by a constant 1. And eventually over time, you'll see these constants and variables kind of have invisible sidekicks of each other. In the last video, I talked about how constants, which are a normal part of polynomials, are actually another variable term. It's just being multiplied times x to the 0th power, which x to the 0th power is always 1. So 6 times 1 is still 6. We can think of variables in the same way. Variables are not really without coefficients. If you don't see that number right there, we just assume that there is a 1 standing in front. 1 times z, still z, 1 times x, still x. So these terms are not entirely isolated. So as we're learning more about polynomials, make sure that you're seeing those invisible partners. They go hand in hand. All right, let's play with some examples. So the polynomial I have on the screen is going to be a trinomial. The reason I'm calling it a trinomial is because the degree of this function is 3. The largest exponent that we're seeing among our terms is to the 3rd power. Now, standard form of a polynomial is to always track your terms from greatest to least. So you'll see we start with 3, then our next term that we include is the exponent of 2. Second to last exponent is the exponent with to the invisible 1, the identity exponent. And then, like I talked about in the previous slide, our constants are x to the 0th power. So we're always writing them in descending order. And this is an example of products of the two types of terms. We have the constant 3 and the variable x. Those are some terms. And right now, all of these terms are connected with the arithmetic operator addition, although we can switch that up with subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's try an example here. So 6x plus 8x squared plus 3x cubed. Is this example in standard form? Well, no, it's not, because if you'll look closely at our exponents that we have going on here, I labeled them in ascending order, x to the 1st, x to the 2nd, and x to the 3rd. So we're going to fix this by swapping it so that our largest degree is 1st, followed by our 2nd, followed by a 3rd. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, today. I will catch you in the next video.